Here are 36 facts about the Yonko that you probably didn't know. Did you know that prior to the beginning of One Piece, Oda had intended for the manga to be rather short? One that he could wrap up within a handful of volumes. As such, the manga was going to be about Luffy fighting against a bunch of pirates, known as the Yonko, which means that Luffy's final struggle was supposed to be beating the Yonko and not the world government. As you know, the Yonko is a group of 4 pirates, namely Blackbeard, Shanks, Kaido, and Big Mom. However, after the events of Whole Cake Island, Monkey D. Luffy was portrayed by the World Economy newspaper as the 5th Emperor of the Sea. Although much of what was mentioned in the newspaper was fabricated to make Luffy appear better, the position still stands. And by the end of the Wano Country War, it could end up playing a huge role in the shift of power in the world of One Piece. According to Skull in One Piece Novel A, the original 4 emperors are stated to each have their own point when they're most fearsome. Shanks when he's enraged, Whitebeard when someone does dishonorable or inhumane things, Big Mom when she's in a bad mood, and Kaido has always been terrifying. Speaking of terrifying, Lin claimed that had she managed to marry off her daughter Charlotte Lola to Elbaf Prince Loki to secure a political alliance, she would have gained the strongest army of giants that would have allowed her to defeat the other 3 emperors and become the next Pirate King. The next Pirate King will be Luffy, of course, but a fan fact about him is that due to his age, Luffy is the youngest of all past and current emperors, as well as the only member so far to have never served under another captain before forming his own crew. In addition, Luffy is also the only member of the current lineup to have never been a pirate apprentice. The original 4 Emperor lineup, except for Shanks, were all former members of the now defunct Rock Pirates. Due to this, the quartet were all involved in the God Valley incident, with then 1-year-old Shanks being found inside a treasure chest by the Roger Pirates at the site. Did you know that both Big Mom and Kaido's silhouettes in the beginning of the show were completely different from their original look? Although the Yonko are 4 pirates who are considered to be each other's enemies, something peculiar has happened at Wano Country which could end up shaking the balance of the entire world. With Kaido and Big Mom forming an alliance, a new pirate crew has risen, the likes of which has already been termed as the strongest crew in the history of the series. Kaido seems to be inspired by Oni, ogre-like Japanese mythological creatures which is similar to a demon, who are among the greatest icons of Japanese mythology. First, Oni are usually depicted as having a giant hulking frame, 1 or multiple horns on their heads, wild hair, and a fierce visage, traits shared by Kaido. Like Kaido, Oni are said to possess immense body strength. In addition, they're often depicted carrying Kanabo as their signature weapon, like Kaido does. Kaido's residence on Onigashima, literally translated as Island of Oni, is based on the Japanese folklore hero Momotaro's tale, which upon maturing into adolescence, went to defeat a band of Oni dwelling on an island of said name. So yeah, Kaido is confirmed to be a demon. Also, did you know that Kaido is currently the only one of the 4 emperors whose flagship has not been seen or named? While the Big Mom Pirates and Toto Island as a whole seem heavily inspired by fairy tales and fantasy fiction, Lin in particular shares traits with several characters from Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland novel, the Queen of Hearts. With their extreme selfishness, short tempers, their similar appearances, obese, bulbous nose and a very wide grin, abnormal size, and the way they dress. They both also rule over their bizarre kingdoms with iron fists, and have the tendency to order the decapitation of others. The Mad Hatter with their obsession with tea parties, intolerance for latecomers, and constantly wearing very unique hats. The Duchess with their insane mood swings, oversized head, ugly face, and treating their children and anyone else they see as subservient to them in ways convenient only for themselves. Also in the anime, when she was about to take Moscato's life force, she briefly took on a face that resembled the Cheshire Cats. Also, did you know that during Lin's rampage through Sweet City due to craving Crocombooch, she climbed a tower, roared, and waved her other hand in rage? Similar to the famous actions of King Kong? Probably because of her great personality, she's the youngest person who got a bounty on her head at the age of just 6 years old. Moving on to our next Yonko, did you know that Blackbeard is one of Oda's favorite characters? Teaches devil fruit Yami Yami no Mi gives off black smoke when he's using it. This may be a reference to his real-life counterpart, who was rumored to burn candles in his hair which smoked, giving him a demonic appearance. In real life, Blackbeard's career in piracy lasted for only 2 years. Yet he became a legendary criminal in his own right. In One Piece, after defecting from the Whitebeard pirates and striking out on his own as a captain, Teach has gained much infamy in the same amount of time, having risen to the rank of one of the 4 emperors. But let's pause for a second for a word from today's video sponsor, Sakura Co. If you're like me and you love Japanese culture and food, but you can't travel there anytime soon, Sakura Co is just for you. Sakura Co is a monthly authentic Japanese snack subscription box. Sakura Co is supporting local Japanese snack makers. Each box comes with 20 traditional, authentic, and artisan Japanese snacks, including teas and a special Japanese tableware. With Sakura Co, you can enjoy original Japanese treats and actual Japanese tea from the comfort of your home. My personal favorite was the crunchy cinnamon snacks. I also gave a friend a taste and he liked it a lot. So if you're a Japan fan like me, you should head over to Sakura Co with the links in the description and use my code ANIMEHERO to get $5 off for your first box, as these boxes are a perfect way to experience Japan for yourself. Check the links below. Don't forget, the best way to support me is to support my sponsor, so you get to have amazing new treats each month and help me produce more of the videos you like. It's double the goodness. Teach's original name, Everything D Teach, may come from 17th century English pirate Henry Every, famous for becoming the richest pirate in the world at the time and getting the highest bounty in history placed on his head. Now seriously, who names his kid Everything? In the Impel Down arc, Teach is confirmed to have used Kinbun Shoku Haki on Luffy at some point during the Jaya arc. This would make him the first ever Kinbun Shoku Haki user depicted in the series, before the concept of mantra was introduced in the following arc. Fittingly, Teach is also the first character in the series to mention Haki by name. Let's move on to Shanks, shall we? Shanks has the highest bounty of all current 4 emperors. Ironically though, he had the lowest bounty in the original lineup. Shanks has a direct relationship with the other current 4 emperors. He inspired Luffy to be a pirate, served together with Buggy and the Roger Pirates, and received his trademark scars from Blackbeard. According to Oda, Shanks is the one character that resembles himself the most out of all the One Piece characters, because of his cool and calm personality and standout attire. During Oden's flashback, Buggy is depicted with a more childish design and voice, despite taking place some years after other flashbacks, where Buggy is depicted with a more mature design and his adult voice. Another small detail you probably overlooked is that given that the Gomi Gomi no Mi was once a mythical zone before being reclassed as a paramecia, this technically makes Buggy the first real paramecia user introduced in the series. Also, did you know that Buggy is the only Yonko that doesn't use Haki? Buggy and Marshall D. Teach are the only known individuals to serve as both a warlord of the sea and later one of the 4 emperors, therefore being the only ones to have been part of the 2 of the 3 great powers. A fan asked Oda if Buggy's little friend could split and fly off, and Oda answered that it could, like any part of his body except his feet. Last but not least, we have Luffy. We all know that Luffy has a very unique and funny voice. But did you know that in both the Japanese and English versions, his voice actor is actually female? Their names are Mayumi Tanaka and Colleen Clinkenbeard. Luffy's powers are quite similar in nature to that of DC Comics hero Elongated Man, mostly because they were both obtained after the consumption of a special fruit. Speaking on his power, do you know why Oda chose this specific power for him? Well, he wanted him to have a ridiculous ability to allow him to fool around with Luffy, no matter how serious the plot gets in his manga. Luffy wanted to be the Pirate King since the beginning, but this is not the only similarities between them. They both have the initial D in their names, had friendly relations with their respective crews and rivals, can use all 3 forms of Haki, and can imbue their attacks with Hao Shoku Haki, can hear the voice of all things, and once wore the famous straw hat. Luffy is actually similar to another famous manga character. Can you guess who it is? Write it down in the comments down below. Well, if you said Son Goku, you were right. They both feature a childlike and naive personality, messy black hair, and a gluttonous side. Luffy's surname Monkey is a reference to Goku's Saiyan tail, which resembles a monkey tail. These similarities are fitting since Oda was inspired by Dragon Ball while creating One Piece. Did you know that Luffy has never been sick in his entire life? And he actually doesn't know what it feels like. Heck, I wish I didn't as well. At the age of 19, Luffy is the youngest member of the worst generation and the Four Emperors. Like many shonen heroes, Luffy doesn't end his enemies' lives. But he's not like Vash from Trigun or Kenshin from Rurouni Kenshin. He's not against it for moral reasons. But for Luffy, leaving his enemies alive is a better punishment. If they simply pass away, they won't get to watch while Luffy overturns everything they were working towards. Considering his generally sunny attitude, it's surprising that his approach to battle is so cold. Did you know that Luffy has the least number of thought bubbles? Oda said that since he acts and says what he wants to do rather than think it, he doesn't put a lot of thought bubbles when drawing him. A fan once asked Oda if Luffy's pee-pee can stretch, and he said that it can. Come on, people, ask better questions. That's all for this video. If you'd like to know more about One Piece, please go over to my channel and check out the One Piece playlist. Thanks.